Truth to you, truth to you. What's up, fam? Um, Welcome to my channel, God Body TV, where I break down the gods right here on my phone, man. It's 2019. You know what I'm saying? It don't take much these days just to, use your phone as a source, a means of getting intelligence and knowledge, or getting a little understanding. All right, here we go. We got Lord Thoth, the Emerald Tablets. Um, Breaking this down a little bit, and we're gonna see what the Emerald Tablets got. We're gonna see what we can get out of the Emerald Tablets. So let's check this out.
The Emerald Tablets of Thoth. Tablet 1. The History of Thoth, the Atlantean. I, Thoth the Atlantean, Master of Mysteries, Keeper of Records, Mighty King, Magician, living from generation to generation, being about to pass into the halls of Amente, set down for the guidance of those that are to come after. These records of the mighty wisdom of great Atlantis. In the great city of Caor, on the island of Undul, in a time far past I began this incarnation. Not as the little men of the present age did the mighty ones of Atlantis live and die, but rather from aeon to aeon did they renew their life in the halls of Amente, where the river...
So he's saying he's from Atlantis. You know anything about Atlantis? That was an ancient city that was ruled by Thoth, Atlantean. Um, yeah.
of life flows eternally onward. 100 times 10 have I descended the dark way that led me into the light, and as many times I have ascended from the darkness into the light, my strength and power renewed. Now for a time I descended, and the men of Ken shall know me no more. But in a time yet unborn will I rise again, mighty and potent, requiring an accounting of those left behind me. Then beware, O men of Kem, if ye have falsely betrayed my teaching, for I shall cast ye down from your high estate.
And Kim, y'all know what Kim is? Kim is a spot in Kemet. Africa. It's called Kemet. That's where you get chemistry from, chematic science, and all that. Cosmetology. All those words connect to Kemet, and connects to alchemy, which is the transmutation of things. So you know a little something about Kemet. That word where it come from, and it means black, too, dark. Some places.
Into the darkness of the caves from whence ye came. Betray not my secrets to the men of the north or the men of the south, lest my curse fall upon ye. Remember and heed my words, for surely I will return again and require of thee that which ye guard. Aye, even from beyond time and from beyond death will I return.
Okay, you know anything about the Emerald Tablets? The Emerald Tablets was wrote 36,000 years ago. So whatever you hear now is coming from, like, if you hear something that sounds like the Bible, if you hear any scripture, just think about it. He's using words like mighty. These words in the Bible, mighty, curses, you know, already. So you're like, dang, it sounds like the Bible, huh? Well, where do you think they got this from?
Rewarding or punishing as ye have requited your trust. Great were my people in the ancient days, great beyond the conception of the little people now around me, knowing the wisdom of old, seeking far from within the heart of infinity, knowledge that belonged to earth's youth. Wise were we with the wisdom of the children of light who dwelt among us. Strong were we with the power drawn from the eternal fire. And all of these, greatest among the children of men was my father Tothme, keeper of the great temple, link between the children of light who dwell within the temple and the races of men who inhabited the 10 islands. Mouthpiece after the 3, of the dweller of Unal, speaking to the kings with the voice that must be obeyed. Grew I from there, from a child into manhood, being taught by my father the elder mysteries, until in time there grew within the fire of wisdom, until it burst into a consuming flame. Not desired I but the attainment of wisdom, until on a great day the command came from the dweller of the temple that I be brought before him. Few there were among the children of men who had looked upon the mighty face and lived. For not as the sun...
Okay, But that sound like that's straight out the Bible. No man has seen God's face and lived. So it's like, come on, man. They got this from the Emerald Tablet.
Sons of men are the children of light when they are not incarnate in a physical body. Chosen was I from the Son of Men, taught by the dweller so that his purposes might be fulfilled, purposes yet unborn in the womb of time. Long ages I dwelt in the temple, learning ever and yet ever more wisdom, until I too approached the light emitted from the great fire. Taught me he the path to Amente, the underworld where the great king sits upon his throne of might. Deep I bowed in homage before the lords of life and the lords of death, receiving as my gift the key of life. Free was I from the halls of Amente, bound not by death to the circle of life. Far to the stars I journeyed until space and time became as naught. Then, having drunk deep of the cup of wisdom, I looked into the hearts of men, and there I found greater mysteries and was glad. For only in the search for truth could my soul be stilled and the flame within be quenched.
What that sound like? That sound like you? See, because you got certain frequencies and certain beings that are carbonated that they just on a different frequency. You say, okay, think about it. You say race. Okay, it was one melanin race, one melanin being, right? Okay, melanin is what? Carbon. But it's only one type of carbon. See, it's different types of carbon. But the carbon that is that light, it always go back to the source. So you're not finna be throwing everybody on top except your people, because you're gonna go back to the source. It ain't about being racist or none of that. It's about going back to the source of the so-called carbon, melanin, so-called melanin, which is carbon. Going back to the source of it. But when you start being racist and judge, oh no, he's Indian. He was an Indian man. Man, it was that higher being, that's the celestial being that was on this type of information that you dudes not even thinking about.
Down through the ages I lived, seeing those around me taste the cup of death and return again in the light of life. Gradually, from the kingdoms of Atlantis passed waves of consciousness that had been one with me, only to be replaced by spawn of a lower star. In obedience to the law, the word of the masters grew into flower. Downward into darkness turned the thoughts of the Atlanteans, until at last in this wrath arose from his Agwanti, the dweller, speaking the word, calling the power. Deep in earth's heart, the sons of Amente heard, and hearing, directing the change of the flower of fires that burns eternally, changing and shifting, using the logos, until that great fire changed its direction.
But did y'all hear that? It's beings that can use words and create things with just words. It's beings that have the power to, whatever they speak, it start manifesting instantaneously. That's what he's saying.
Over the world then broke the great waters, drowning and sinking, changing earth's balance, until only the temple of light was left, standing on the great mountain of Undul, still rising above the water. Some there were those who were living, saved from the rush of the fountain. Called to me then the master, saying, Gather ye together, my people. Take them by the arts ye have learned of far across the waters, until ye reach the land of the hairy barbarians, dwelling.
Okay, let's break that down. Take the time. Gather ye my people. So he telling them to gather so they can go to a land of the hairy barbarians and do what? Raise up their consciousness. So thoth is raising up people consciousness, man. He going places raising up your consciousness. Just listen for yourself and just, take a second and use your common sense. He's flying in a spaceship and he's finna raise up the consciousness of a particular being. The hairy barbarian to be exact.
In the caves of the desert. Follow there the plan that ye know of. Gathered I then my people and entered the great ship of the master. Upward we rose into the morning.
He said he gathered his people and went into a ship of the great masters. So obviously there's some type of spaceship there that can fly because he's saying he's going over waters. If you pay attention, he's over the waters.
Dark beneath us lay the temple. Suddenly over it rose the waters, vanished from earth until the time appointed was the great temple. Fast we fled toward the sun of the morning, until beneath us lay the land of the children of Chem. Raging, they came with cudgels and...
So they flew over the land of Chem, which is Kemet, which is in Africa. They flew over Kemet, and he's describing what happened when he landed, how the hairy barbarians attacked him.
Spears, lifted in anger, seeking to slay and utterly destroy the sons of Atlantis. Then I raised my staff and directed a ray of vibration, striking them still in their tracks as fragments of stone of the mountain.
Okay, so we're finna break that down. He raised his staff. Man, I was just talking about the staff, how it's used all through history. So obviously his staff has some type of technology, and he uses it to stun his opponent to stop him in his tracks. So he raises his staff and deliver a what? A vibration, which is a frequency, which is some type of technology with electricity or sounds. You see? So we're talking about technology. There's nothing spooky about it. It's common sense. Technology. Listen.
Then spoke I to them in words calm and peaceful, telling them of the might of Atlantis, saying we were the children of the sun and its messengers. Cowed I them by my display of magic signs.
Okay, so he's saying we the children of the sun and we are his messengers. Who are the children of the sun? From what I was raised up and taught, the children of the sun are the soul people. Who are the soul people on the planet? The children of the sun are the people with soul who have a solar connection to the planet, or to the sun, which is carbon-based people. They eat soul food. Who invented soul food? Even though the terms have been, it was bad food, it was just the point that our people always mention to put the soul in front of it so you can know that you're a soul being. That's you. If you looking like me, it ain't knocking no race, but it was the beings like us.
Until at my feet they groveled when I released them. Long dwelt we in the land of Chem, long and yet long again, until obeying the commands of the Master, who, while sleeping, yet lives eternally, I sent for me the sons of Atlantis, set them in many directions, that from the womb of time wisdom might rise again in her children.
I'm going to make a point about that. He sent from him the sons of Atlantis in many directions. So if the sons of Atlantis are thoth people, thoth, aka Tahuti, whatever name you come up with, you can best describe and try to say it, try to pronounce it right. But yeah, they all acquired the same knowledge, right? So they know how to pretty much do everything that this man can do, or has pretty much been his students, right? So his information is going to go all around the world. That's why it's in Asia. That's why it's in China. That's why it's in Africa. That's why it's everywhere. Just listen.
Long time dwelt I in the land of Chem, doing great works by the wisdom within me. Upward grew into the light of knowledge the children of Chem, watered by the rains of my wisdom. Blasted I then a path to Amente, so that I might reach
Chem, Egypt, Africa. That's what he's talking about, how they blossomed in Egypt by him doing it. They was basically his students. He watered them with knowledge, and they blossomed, and they built dynasties. Ooh, that me too. They built dynasties. That's where you get Egypt from. Think about it.
Gain my powers, living from age to age, a son of Atlantis, keeping the wisdom, preserving the records. Great grew the sons of Chem, conquering the people around them. growing slowly upwards in soul force. Now for a time I go from among them into the dark halls of Amente, deep in the halls of the earth, before the lords of power, face to face once again with the dweller. Raised I high over the entrance, a doorway, a gateway leading down to Amente. Few there would be with courage to dare it, few past the portal to dark Amente. Raised over the passage, I, a mighty pyramid, using the power that overcomes earth force. Deep and yet deeper place I, a force house or chamber. From it carved I a circular passage reaching almost to the great summit. There in the apex set I the crystal, sending the ray into the time-space, drawing the force from out of the ether, concentrating upon the gateway to Amente. Other chambers I built and left vacant to all seeming, yet hidden within them are the keys to Amente. He who in courage would dare the dark realms, let him be purified first by long fasting. Lie in the sarcophagus of stone in my chamber, then reveal I to him the great mysteries. Soon shall he follow to where I shall meet him, even in the darkness of earth shall I meet him. I, Thoth, Lord of Wisdom, meet him.
So he's talking about somebody using their mind and meditating on meeting him. You see? So he's obviously was able to do something mentally to ascend and be a god.
And hold him and dwell with him always. Built I the great pyramid, patterned after the pyramid of earth force.
Okay, so we already know who built the great pyramid. Thoth, Lord Thoth said he built the great pyramid, patterned by earth's force. So everybody talking about who built it, who did it at. Y'all, come on, man. This so-called black man named Lord Thoth, which looked just like me, built the pyramids.
Burning eternally so that it too might remain through the ages. In it, I built my knowledge of magic science, so that I might be here when again I return from Amente. While I sleep in the halls of Amente, my soul roaming free will incarnate, dwell among men in this form or another. Emissary on earth am I of the dweller, fulfilling his commands so that many might be lifted. Now return I to the halls of Amente, leaving behind me some of my wisdom. Preserve ye, and keep ye the command of the dweller. Lift ever upwards your eyes towards the light. Surely in time ye are one with the Master.
Okay, does that sound kind of familiar? Lift your eyes to the light. Light, 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 light. Who talking about light? Your Bible, we got the Holy Bible talking about a lot of light. Right light. Right light. Right light. That's all you're going to get when you start reading the Bible. You jump into it, you start saying that right, light, right. That's a fact.
Surely by right ye are one with the Master. Surely by right, yet are one with the all. Now I depart from ye. Know my commandments. Keep them and be them.
Oh, there you go with another one. You got your first commandments. And if y'all listen, y'all notice that Thoth is also your first MC. Thoth spitting like that, man. Y'all listen to some of the words he said, they rhyme. They all rhyme. And the first MC ever. Ain't nobody gonna ever tell you this, bro. Ain't nobody gonna ever tell you that Lord Thoth was the first MC ever and the realest. You know what I'm saying? Just listen to him. Dropping jewels. This is being an MC. You know what I'm saying? This is truth.
And I will be with you, helping and guiding you into the light. Now before me opens the portal. Go I down into the darkness of night. Tablet 2, the halls of Amente. Deep in earth's heart lie the halls of Amente. Far neath the islands of sunken Atlantis. Halls of the dead and halls of the living.
I'm gonna stop it right there. So yeah, man, stay tuned for Tablet 2.